Alright, we got here's a scuttle hole. Most common people just put wood trim around a scuttle hole, but this is a wrapped scuttle hole. Wrap means we're going to sheetrock the inside of it and put corner bead around it. Corner bead it, mud it, and texture. It's a big process to wrap these scuttle holes. If it's up to me, I would just put a piece of wood on it, trim it out with wood, and call it a day. But we're going to have to wrap this scuttle hole. So it's a big project, so let's get to work. Round corner bead. Some pieces I've had of other jobs, just the round bull nose. We're going to corner bead it. Well, for scuttles, I like to use the factory recessed edge because it's nice and straight and clean. It's not rough like this. You could do the rough edge, but it's easier to have the scuttle access rest on a nice clean straight edge. Some guys even do a square bead, like an L bead on it, but it's easier just to take the recess part. I'm going to do 2.5 inches. I'm going to take 2.5 inches off this side, that side, maybe even off these ones, and see what I can use here. That's 2, but I need 4 sides. If you had a really long piece of sheetrock, you can do it. But I'm going to take the recessed off this sheet too. These are just pieces. Ideal world, of course, you want a whole sheet, half a sheet. But we're just using what I have just to keep that nice straight edge, that factory recessed edge. 2.5 off this side, 2.5 off the bottom, and then if need be we'll piece it in. This will do the 2 sides, then I need 4 sides. Alright, so that's all my recessed pieces I have. Recessed pieces. All nice clean edges there. So this might be enough. I'm hoping this is enough. If I need be, then I'll have to piece in another piece. But let's at least get all of our recessed pieces inside the wrap. So I took the scuttle hole off. So basically the recessed part will sit there, and then the scuttle will sit on top of it. Nice straight edge. So I don't think I'll have enough, but we'll make do with what we got. The pulley screws. But yeah, they had to get in here, do the new AC in the attic, and they had to widen it in. Goofy. I would just trim it with wood and just put the scuttle hole on, but they want it wrapped. They're back to original. Alright. First things first. Someone put these screws in. Of course, I don't have a hex wrench to take them off. That's how you get rid of those. Okay. Nails. Okay. Now we're ready. Remember those pieces I cut? So looks like I'll have to piece it in here. What I like to do is just put a screw in the middle, because I'm going to have to put the other piece here and kind of move it up and down to align both of them. So now I can align it. Same thing, just put a screw here in the middle. Now I could adjust this so it's flush. Because we want this scuttle access to sit on it flush. Nice line, see the recess, nice straight line. Getting this out of here for now until I get all the pieces in. Wrapping the scuttle hole. I know. There's easier ways of doing this, definitely. So we are going to have a joint there, but that's okay. It's all going to get mudded in. I just want these joints to line up though. So it's a nice... Same thing, I just put a screw in the middle for now. Just to hold it in place. Got one more. All my pieces might actually work. notice I'm not going right down to the 90 degree because I'm doing a round bead on it. You want the round bead to sit on it. It doesn't sit at 90 degrees. It has to be cut back a little bit so the round bead sits over. Try to do this. Turn my map to the camera. Kind of see what I'm doing here. Nice straight edge on top. Same thing, screw in the middle. That way I can move it and position it with the scuttle hole on top. This one takes a little more time than most jobs. Need a new razor. Alright, now we're going to piece in that little spot. Get it nice and tight. She's tight. Same thing, screw in the middle of that piece. Then I'm going to put the scuttle access panel on top of this, and then I can align these to sit nicely like they should. That's why I put the screw in the middle, so if I have to kick it up or move it, I can. Like this side. This side I gotta kick it up just a little bit. Once it's all aligned, then you can go ahead and put screws in it. We are going to corner bead it, and with the corner bead I install my corner bead with screws, so we don't need a ton of screws in the sheetrock right now because we're going to put a bunch more to install the corner bead. This project takes a long time. That's why I would just trim it with wood and call it a day. Okay. So now I'm going to get my corner bead. Remember I took it back because the corner bead's going to have to sit on it like that. But we're going to go ahead now. That's why I use these scrap pieces. I'm going to go ahead and get my metal cutter, snips. We call them snips. Used them for corner bead. Get my snips. I'm going to keep my snips on hand because I don't want them to get damaged. nice snips. There's a secret cutting corner beads, especially at a 45-degree angle, kind of like a miter saw cut you're trying to do to get these angles. This piece, I like to just start right here, kind of go like this. You're going to have to practice cutting your corners. That, to kind of mark this one. Same thing, go in the opposite direction. Area. Nails, screws, whatever it takes. Some guys like staples. I like to use screws in my corner bead. There's holes already here, so go ahead and start adding screws. You make sure it's sitting nicely, nice and flush. You don't want this flared out, pop out. They call it bead pops. Rule of thumb is just put a screw in every outside hole on the corner bead. If you can't catch the screw, sometimes you can use a longer screw and catch the edge of it. I'm using a longer screw now for the bottom part. And I caught it. Good thing with corner bead and screws, that it's strong, it's on there, it's not going to back out, pop. You can't catch a stud, back it out a little more until you catch a stud. If you can't catch a stud, that's fine, because we're going to also fiberglass mesh tape over it. Same thing, outside edge. Take my bigger piece I got. Well, that would be more on this side. Sometimes you can also see they don't line up that good in the corners, so you can cut your metal until you get that nice miter saw angle. It's hard to do. See how it's off, but that's fine. Just to cut it a little more. It's nice and tight there, so that'll work for that one. She's tight. See the outside holes. Fits perfectly. I like to always get them in the angle. You see wrapping scuttle hole. One more piece. I got plenty of sheetrock. Got plenty of sheetrock. Plenty of corner bead. You can work on your cuts until you get a perfect. Sometimes you have to go deeper. It's almost like I'm cutting it straight, get halfway through, and then turn. Yeah, that's perfect. You have to cut corner bead, a ton of corner bead, to get it down to a perfect miter cut. Until then, we're just gonna get it just so we can get this done with. Back just a little bit. Also, a nice pair of brand new snips are awesome. These ones are getting used and abused. Gap's fine. She's just a little too tight. Just cut it back just a little bit. Just a smidget. Just a smidget. Okay. And then we're going to go through and fiberglass this once I get this secured. You don't have to fiberglass your corner beads, but I recommend it. It'll just prevent it from ever cracking. It'll never crack. They call it popped corner beads when they crack on the edges here. A good house, all corner bead is taped. But they don't do it because it's too time consuming. I used to work for a commercial drywall company, and all the corner bead we had to tape it in. After all the bead got installed, then we'd have to go through and tape it. Just like we taped all the sheetrock joints. Then we would have to tape all the corner bead. The company was smart. They spent the extra time doing that, but they never had any callbacks on popped, cracked corner bead edges. Make sure these screws are set. If they're not sinking, pull them out. That's why guys like to use hammer and nails. Be done already probably with the hammer and nails. Hole there. Hole there. Hole there. That's why I just put a few screws in the sheetrock, because with all these extra screws in the corner bead, that puppy's not going nowhere. Right here on the... Alright, double check everything. Plenty of screws. Didn't miss any areas, any missed areas. You can go ahead and throw a screw in there and tighten it up. Okay. That's a wrapped scuttle hole, my friends. Wrapped it with 3/4 bullnose round bead. Now the fun stuff. Get the hanging tools off. My spray glue, fiberglass, and a 6-inch knife. Spray glue. Why do I use spray glue? Well, the tape bonds better with spray glue. So you don't need a lot of it. This one's actually almost gone. So I'm going to tape the edge of it. I'm not spraying it on the bullnose. I'm spraying it on the flange that we're going to mud. Angles, angles. Joint, all around angles, angles. That's it. Not a lot. I got enough for the next job. Fiberglass. I know a lot of guys use infused tape, this other tape. Fiberglass. Do your angles. I just wrapped it around my angle. That little joint. Or I can just go all around. I am going to go all around it, but I'm just checking, getting the angles with its own tape. Now, see how I'm just going over the edge? This will be a strong, secure area. Also, if anybody ever goes in the attic again, they hit this corner bead with their tools or whatever, it's not going to break the corner bead. So this is a nice strong way to fiberglass your corner bead edges. That way we can turn around and mud all this. Bottom. Hope you're watching this. See, I'm just going over the edge. I'm not going over it. I'm going just to the edge. Go past it, cross it off. Don't go over the thing because we have to, this is going to be exposed once we get it all completed. Push down. That's why the spray glue helps hold the tape in place. So I'll walk away and it'll be falling down if I don't have spray glue on it. So that looks pretty good, my friends. Fiberglass mesh tape your corner beads. You'll never have a crack out ever. So now we're ready to get this all first coated. I'm going to first coat it with the hot mud. My favorite type of materials. As for my hanging bucket, get this out of my way. I don't need it. Any screws, I don't like to waste screws. Screws aren't cheap. Keep my screws for the next job. I do have a nice tool belt, but I prefer the bucket technique instead of dragging around a belt. Some guys like a belt. I got my belt in there. I only pull it out for special occasions. Corner bead, I'll keep that for the next job. Plastic, keep that for the next job. Okay. Hanging tools are done. Now off to the important stuff. Muddy. I have a water bucket here with fresh water. That's texture. This is my 5-minute mud powder. Alright, first coat mud. I like a nice full pan of mud for most first coats. Not full of powder, 3/4 full of powder so I can add water. 1, 2 sponge loads of water. Fresh water. Always try to use fresh water when you're mixing materials. Dirty water sometimes changes the set time. Makes them set up faster or makes them set up slower. It'll alter the setup times. Just a little more, just a little more. Don't need it too heavy. Okay, let's get it coated. I like to do the inside wrap first. Just use my 6-inch knife. I'm just going to strike it in. Strike it in. Strike it in. Strike it in. I turn around on the ladder here to get the back side. Alright, clean knife. That direction. You try to go halfway. 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 Switch it around. Not enough materials, go ahead and put some more on there. Halfway. 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 Angle's kind of goofy. Pick that angle. Okay. Remember these corners. Sometimes you can take the extra mud right here and just follow it through. You could also do this with caulking at the very end. Clean your corner bead. You can always have some mud on here. You want to get the majority of your coat mud off. Bottom part. Okay. Go around. I like to basically try to get all my mud on before I trowel it down. Feather your edge. Feather your edge. Now, see how my knife's going over the metal? And there's the corners. You can fill those in with mud, no big deal. Okay, this little wrap, I'm just going to use my 6. Mud, clean your bead. You're not going to get every bit of it off, just get the majority of it off. Let that set up. Look at that. I didn't use a full pan of mud to do all that. We're going to let this set up. It's a 5-minute mud, so let's give it about 5 minutes and we're going to check on it. Once it sets up, we're going to have to sponge slick it out. This is a technique done with hot muds, powder form that you add water, a quick set mud. If this was a joint compound, you would have to let this joint compound dry overnight, then sand it, then coat it, then sand it, then texture. But with this hot mud, we're going to slick it out. So let's just get our tools cleaned up. Always clean up your tools right when you're done using them. We don't want this stuff drying on our knives and pans, especially hot muds. Hot muds set up like a cement, rock hard. You'll be scraping and sanding your knives for a long time to get them clean. So that's why we clean it while the mud's before it sets up, not after. If you never mudded before, just stick to joint compounds. Joint compounds are easier on beginners. These hot muds are more novice, professional type materials. Takes more time to work with it. Slick it out. Slick out time. You're gonna need your 6-inch knife, clean 6-inch knife, and a clean damp sponge. Let's go ahead and see if it's setting up. All you do is see it's already setting up. So I like to do the corner bead. Corner bead. We're just cleaning the corner beads. Everybody thinks you're supposed to have mud on the corner bead. The corner bead needs to be nice and clean and shiny. No material on the corner bead. Once you primer and paint, the corner bead won't be metal anymore. Inside wrap. Wet it. This is with hot mud. I'm wetting it. Basically, this is like troweling down the old mud. It's kind of like if you worked with cement. As cement starts setting up, you start manipulating it. Look at that. It's ready already for texture because I put it on nice and heavy. Now I can follow through and probably just texture this wrap. It doesn't need a lot of mud. You don't need 2 or 3 coats of mud on corner bead when you do the fiberglass mesh tape over it. Takes some of the depth. the coating depth away. Follow those through. These also like to caulk them in. That's how they do the houses. They caulk in all these round beads. Look it out. Outside edge. I'm going to change the angle here. Slick out your edge. All that extra material, I'm slicking it out and it's almost treating it like another coat. This is already ready for texture. That's how awesome it is. Same thing this side. Notice I'm crossing off the opposite direction. You can go anyway, it doesn't hurt. Just working the material. Took up all this extra material. It's kind of like a wet sanding technique. Check your angles. You can follow your angles with your finger with a nice angle. Nice angle. I don't know about you, but it looks pretty darn good. Your extra mud on here. You just keep manipulating the material until it looks caulking. Remember I said I needed caulking? Here we go. This is just regular water cleanup caulking that I use. Nothing special. I use a sponge technique. Some guys like to use a rag. I'm a drywaller, so I use a sponge. This is extra credit. This just makes a nice, perfect angle. Following it through with your finger. Any excess, you follow it through with your sponge. It fills in. Remember these angles? I like to go down past the bead. Past the bead. Now the technique with this, keep a clean finger. Follow it through. If it's deep, you could even use your thumb because the thumb could put more material. And wipe that away the tail. Same thing here. Wipe away the tail. This is, of course, painter work. Painters should do this caulking, but I know they're not going to, so I'll do it for them. Chip right there, no big deal. Clean up your bead. Any imperfections you see, this is a good time to check everything. I don't know about you, but that looks great. Caulked in, we're going to let it set up a couple more minutes and we're going to follow through with the skip trowel texture. The framing nail and just put in my caulking gun, make sure this is backed out. Put it away, it'll be good for the next job. I'm done with my hot mud, so I like to get that out of the way. Texture. This texture was mixed earlier on a job. Sometimes if you want to mix up your texture, I always recommend a joint compound. Whip it up. You need creamy mud. You can't use heavy, unmixed mud. Heavy pancake batter consistency. I'm going to use my 6-inch knife. I'm going to scoop up what I need. Then we're going to go ahead and get this area all textured with the skip trowel. Keep a lid on it. I don't want nothing falling in my mud. Let's get this skip troweled. I'm going to use my 6-inch knife since it's such a small area. Nothing to it. Just texturing inside of the wrap. Real heavy texture. Depending on your area, you probably have different type of textures. Honestly, I would just leave it smooth. You can see this texture is going this direction. So I want to match the direction of the original skip trowel. I have many videos on my playlist on how to do skip trowels. Practice makes perfect with this texture. Start on the outside edge will help get your pattern going. I like to go off the bead too. Easy peasy. Take it out further and wider, blend it in nicely. Any bad areas, double check. Texture over. Fun scuttle hole. All that for corner bead. That's why I said I would just put wood around it. Call it a day. I'm knocking down everything I did lightly. Just trowel it down. You let this textures, joint compounds have to dry a day or so. that for scuttle hole. Just let that dry a day or so, and then it's ready to be primered and painted. Scuttle hole wrap with 3/4 bullnose round bead. Nice finish. Just let that texture dry. This is skip trowel, nothing to the skip trowel. This is really rough. So that's what we're matching here, a rough skip trowel.